What up, boys? Part Fantasy Football 6-9 here. With Sunday Night Football coming to an end here soon, I'm already here to bring you my Week 4's biggest losers. Now, this one's pretty interesting, so I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. This is my first ever YouTube video. If y'all would check out my page, maybe drop a follow, drop a like, I'd really appreciate that. So let's get straight into it. My number one loser after Week 4, it's kind of self-explanatory from this image. It's Ladd McConkey. Now, this one's pretty interesting. Ladd McConkey only had one catch for 11 yards today, and this is the third week in a row he's had less than 10 fantasy points. I'm starting to get a little panicked because not only is he getting out-touched by Quentin Johnson and Keenan Allen, he's being outscored by them too. So there's a real chance that he's the wide receiver 3 on his team going forward. And not to mention, he was a second, third round pick. So the investment is not working out in our favor. Honestly, I'd be a little scared to start him rest of the season. If you have to, I'd see him as a fringe flex play until he proves himself at this point. So I'd really just recommend sticking him on your bench until he proves himself otherwise. That's what I'm going to do. I have him in a bunch of spots, so I'm a little worried. So let's get into my number 2. My second biggest loser after Week 4. It's got to be Jaylen Warren. Now this one's interesting because it's not really his fault. On Saturday night, he was likely to play. And before I could even wake up this morning, he was declared out at 5 a.m. because he was playing in London. So probably 95% of people who have him in their starting lineup probably are taking zeros this week. So it's really unfortunate. Not only that, Kenneth Gainwell went out there and honestly looked unstoppable. He had 134 yards total, 2 touchdowns, and 6 catches. Now, this isn't really about Jalen, but I think that Jalen's role will likely decrease going forward with what he's showing right now, with what Kenneth Gainwell is showing. So I'm a little worried about his role. I'd still see him as a low-end RB2 rest of the season. Without Gainwell looking like he did, I'd probably put him at high-end RB2 rest of the season, but I think his role will diminish slightly as he comes back. So I'd be a little bit... Actually, start him with confidence until he proves otherwise. Injury is not really his fault, but still kind of a loser based on situation. But probably not my biggest loser. And my third loser of the week, it's got to be Kenneth Walker. After Week 3 and Carbonet being out, I really thought that with Carbonet coming back and being healthy this week, the workload would be probably more in favor of Kenneth Walker than it was. Honestly, we were wrong. Kenneth had 19 carries and 81 yards and a catch. Charbonnet had 12 carries and 2 catches with most of the third down work. Honestly, I'm just scared of this backfield at this point. I guarantee you it's going to be closer and closer to 50-50 as the season goes on. So I'd probably just say avoid this backfield if you can. I'd say he's a mid to low end RB2 rest of the season, but barring any injuries, I feel like if Kenneth gets injured, Charbonnet is an RB1 rest of the season, and if Charbonnet gets hurt, Kenny is a RB1 rest of the season. So unless that happens, I'd probably stick him at my flex right now. Charbonnet too. So yeah, that's my third biggest loser of the week. Now, if y'all are interested in fantasy football content that's not some corporate regurgitations and AI rankings, check out my page. I have my own free rankings in my bio, and help me revive fantasy football, honestly, because the culture of fantasy football is probably dying, as if it's dying as I see it because AI is kind of taking over. So if y'all want some real fantasy football content from someone who's not paid to do this, who just is obsessed with it, check out my page. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Tell someone you love them. Peace. Fantasy football out.